Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today's project is a 3D one, and it's this little box that has got a belly band to hold everything in place, and then when you open it up you've got like a little kit of essentials. So we've got some tissues, some hand sanitizer, a chapstick, and then some peppermints here. So this was an idea from the Paper Pixie, and basically I have enlarged it so it will take the tissues and done some different decoration on it. So let's go ahead and see how it works. So this is going to use a whole sheet of cardstock, and it's 10 1/4 by 8 1/2, and we score on the short side, the 8 1/2, at 2 inches from either side, and then on the long side we're going to score at 1 inch, 3 5/8, 5 5/8, and 8 1/4. And then we're going to pop this back along this side, on this side here, and we are going to score 1 inch down. So you've got your 1 inch piece at the top. You're going to score 1 inch down across the first score line to the second score line. And then I'm just going to turn this one, turn this over and do it the other way. So 1 inch down from the first score line to the second score line. And there's all our scoring finished for that piece. So our next step is to cut. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the strip off here. And those two little score lines that we just did is fighting me. So the two score lines that we just did, we're going to cut those pieces off completely, like this. And this one again here. And then these two pieces will be discarded. We don't need those anymore. I'm just going to tidy that up a little bit. There we go. And then we're just going to cut up all of these score lines. And some of them are going to be tabs, and some of them are going to be the actual outside part of the box. So we're going to put a little mitre, a little notch on the tab. So this is a tab, this is a tab, and this is a tab, this piece here. So this piece is going to be the outside edge of our box. Now, if you check out my blog, you will actually find a list of supplies. You'll also find all the dimensions for all the pieces that we are putting together here. Okay, if you can hear heavy breathing, it's my little Yorkie Cece. She's getting excited because it's nearly supper time. And when I say it's nearly supper time, it's nearly an hour away, but she'll be giving us the stink eye for the next hour while she waits for her dinner. There she goes. That's just her getting excited. That's enough, Cece, settle down. So, okay, so there's all our bits and pieces cut. and we're going to put in the folds, and I'm going to use my bone folder for that. And here we go. Nice burnished folds give good boxes. Alrighty. And then just going to open those up and then just put in these folds as well. There. Now this is going to be our lid, this piece here. So what I'm going to try and do is to just squiggle in my little corner rounder here, just to make this work, and just to get a little edge here. Now, the best way I find to do it is to basically fold that flap in like that, and then get that corner in, and we are done. Alrighty. So there's our pieces, and then our decorative panels. So the panels I'm working with, let's see, is we're going to need one for the top, a lid, and then smaller ones for the back and the front, and then I've got two smaller ones here that are going to be on the sides. Now, as I said, I will put measurements in my blog, but I'll just quickly share them while I stick these on. So my card base here, my box base is Merry Merlot, and I'm using Mossy Meadow for my layers, picking out the colours from this designer series paper here. So my top panel is 4 1/4 by 2 3/8 in the card, and then 4 by 2 1/8 in the designer series paper. And then these two smaller panels, one goes on the back of the box and one goes on what will be the front of the box here. And those two panels, the card is 4 1/4 by 1 3/4, and the DSP on them is 4 by 1 1/2. And I'm just using liquid glue. You've probably heard me say many times that liquid glue gives you time to sort of move it around and squidge it a little bit to make sure it's centered. And then these two side panels are 2 3/8 by 1 3/4, and then my designer series paper on that is 2 1/4 by 1 1/2. So those are the pieces. As I say, I will put this all on my blog, just making sure that I've got these stems going in the right direction, so that when the box is all folded, it doesn't look like my flowers and things are upside down. Okay, so they're all nicely in place. So now we're going to use the tear and tape to get these panels assembled. So I'm going to use a piece near my fold and another piece at the tip of the tab. Alrighty. So I'm making these as a little thank you gift for the members of my Stampin' Up team, just to show how much I appreciate them. And again, if you go to my blog, you'll see a little tab that says join my team. So if you would like to join in the fun, you can find out the details there. And if you've got any questions, you can always contact me and I'll be happy to help you. All right, so we're nearly there. And there's all our pieces of tape on there like that. So I am just going to just quickly use my bone folder just to give them all a firm press down. And then use my piercing tool to just pick these bits up. And I only take a little bit of the tape off at a time. And that's because, knowing my luck, I'll get one piece stuck to another piece that doesn't belong. Now I'm just going to swing this bit round and just line up the edges and the corners here just to make sure that they're all nice and neat. Like that. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to just burnish that in and just make sure that I get a nice, good stickiness. Alrighty. So these panels, these pieces will come next. And to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter what order that you stick them down in. Here we go. So then I'm going to swing this one round. And I'm just making sure that the cut edge is lined up with the score on each panel. Like that. And again, in with my... And then my final pieces. Oh, before I do that, I nearly forgot my little finger tab. So I'm just using the 1 1/8 scallop circle punch. Oh gosh, that would have been difficult once the box had been assembled. There we go. That's better. Gosh. Now you'll see I've got to cut that a little bit too long, that tape, so I'm just going to fold it back on itself, just like that, just to make sure it's not overhanging when I stick it down together. Okay, and then finally this piece, and then our box will be nearly finished here. Alrighty. Now you can use liquid glue for this. It just takes a little bit of extra time to dry, but I would recommend you not using snail. Snail will just not be firm enough to be able to hold that in place. So there we go. So our little box closes nice and firmly like that. So then we have got our dividers. So I've got 2 dividers here. This larger one is, let's see, 6 1/8 by 2 1/2, and I've scored it at 2 5/8, 3 1/2, and 4 3/8. So the middle one is going to be a hill, a mountain fold, and then the 2 either side are going to be she says, doing it completely the wrong way, are going to be valley folds. So that's going to go like this. And just to make sure everything kind of sits and firmly, I'm just going to put a piece of double-sided tear and tape in the middle there, like that, and then just fold it down and burnish it. Okay, and that goes in our box like that. There's one of our dividers. And then the second piece, again is, let's see, 2.5 by 4 3/8, and then it's been scored at 3/4, 1 5/8 and 2.5. So the middle one again is the mountain fold, and then the two either side are valley folds, like that. And then once again a little bit of double-sided tear and tape in there just to hold everything firm, like that. And then I'm just going to burnish that up. So there's our other piece, and that fits in the other side of the box like that. So when you come to put your pieces in, oh, excuse me, you've got your hand sanitizer and your little piments and your chapstick. And then in here somewhere I've got some tissues, and these are just the ordinary Kleenex handbag tissues. There's nothing special about the size or anything like that. I'm going to close the box again, and we have a belly band. And our belly band is, it's 1 1/4 inch, and I believe it's about 10 inches in length. But it's however long it needs to be to go round. So rather than score this, I prefer to just work with the box. So I'm just gonna put my fold in and then just line it up so the edges are parallel to one another, and then put in my fold. So here we go with this one. And again, making sure my edges are all lined up before giving it a good old pinch. And then our final one is going to be here. And then the designer series paper basically is 1 inch wide, so 1 1/4 for my piece of cardstock, and then 1 inch for the designer series paper. For the life of me, I cannot remember what it's called, but if you check my blog, it'll all be in there. Okay, so we've got this piece coming here, and it is a weeny bit on the long side, so I am going to just chop a little bit off, maybe about 1 inch, but I'd rather it be too long than too short. And then I'm just going to use another piece of the double-sided tear and tape to attach. This piece is going to go here, and then just ease that off. Okay, we're nearly there, and I'm just going to gently push that together, make sure all the edges are lined up so it looks pretty. Okay, so there's our box. Just a little bit of stamping on it. I'm using the brand new Layered with Kindness stamp set, and I'm going to be using For My Friend, because I consider all the ladies in my team to be my friends. And I'm also using this brand new punch that's coming out in the Occasions catalogue. So, picking up on the Merry Merlot, I'm going to just use a piece of vanilla cardstock, ink up, make sure I got good coverage, and stamp. And I'm just going to let that dry a few moments before I go any further with it. Now I have a scrap of the Mossy Meadow, which I'm going to cut a piece out of, and then I'm going to cut this directly in half. And this is a technique that I've used before, where we're going to layer the pieces together. And just make sure I get this the right way round. So we're going to pop that, make sure it's level, like that. And what I'm going to do is use some adhesive to stick these bits on the back. so that it provides me with a little frame. And I know there'll be a gap in the back, but it won't be, you won't be able to see it because it's going to be covered by the belly band. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive either side, and then using my eye, I'm going to make sure I line up the top two edges like that, so that these pieces are like, oh, and I've just gone and put my finger straight in the adhesive. Excuse me a minute, let's get that off there before I get myself in even more of a mess. And then I'm going to do the same the other side. And really by eye, I'm just lining up to make sure that's kind of just even, like that. I think I'm happy with that. And you can see there's a gap on the back, but it's going to go on the belly band, so it's not going to be seen at all. And then we're going to go for dimensionals, and I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the belly band. And I do this because it means then I haven't got to guess to make sure that I put them on the right place on this, on my label. And then there, lovely. And then I have got me some of this lovely vanilla and gold with gold edging satin ribbon, and it's perfect for bows. So I've just tied myself one with a little glue dot. We're going to stick this on, and I do have a video on making bows. You'll be able to follow that on. I'm just going to pop it to one side there like that, and then to just pick out the gold, I've got some of these lovely gold pearls, which we're going to just pop on. I'm just going to pop them here, I think, on that part. There we go, like that. So there we go. I think that's all finished now. Well, I know this has been a bit on the long side, which is unusual for me, but I certainly appreciate your patience. I hope you've enjoyed this. I thank you for Paper Pixie for the inspiration. And as I say, if you just follow the link at the bottom of my video, you'll be able to go straight to my blog and you'll be able to find all the details there. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you joining me today. Bye for now.